just a couple of the real important early hits to talk about. We have Super Rappin'. This is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. This is their first record. Bobby Robinson had Enjoy Records, which was a micro label. They put out a few of the early rap joints, some of the like very important disco rap records. This was actually produced by Pumpkin. I believe Pumpkin, oh fuck, I can't remember what instrument. I think he played all the fucking instruments. But he wrote and produced this song and essentially made the instrumental backing here. But the crazy thing is, this was Grandmaster Flash, the brand name par excellence, and the Furious Five, and Flash had nothing to do with this record. Literally sat there and, twiddled his thumbs in the studio. It's 12 minutes long, and ironically uses an awesome loop. A loop, that I really love, and emulates this loop from Whole Darn Family, 7 Minutes of Funk. So it's a 12-minute song based on 7 minutes of funk. Again, this is just a boast record. Like all these records are pretty much boast records. Rappin' and Rockin' the House, again, another joint on Enjoy Records. This is the Funky 4 plus one more. This is another 1979 joint. This one's 16 minutes long. You gotta do a little extra cocaine to listen to the whole thing. And it also interpolates a bit from another song from the same year, a huge disco hit, Sherilyn's To Be Real. This is like, like a wedding classic joint, but just to get a little flavor of it. Funky 4 plus one more had Sha Rock. She was like, probably, one of the more notable voices on the whole record. Again, another just, party boast record, that came out. Baron, just to kind of talk actually about this, Jazzy Jeff, it was and Jazzy Jeff, this is not DJ Jazzy Jeff. Jazzy Jeff was one of the members of the group. It was a business move, making this record. Sylvia of Sugar Hill Records offered us more money, paid us, and bought out our contract. I think we got $50,000. 10,000 went to buying out our contract from Bobby, who owned Enjoy, and then the other 40,000 we split amongst our group. For doing what we were doing at the time, it was good money. I was in the 10th grade. I had $5,000. Yeah, for all of us, that was money. We were satisfied because, first of all, it was a hobby. Now that hobby was turning into a good job. We took the money and we went, but we was jumping into something that we really knew nothing about. So this was eventually Funky 4 plus one got signed to Sugar Hill Records off of Enjoy, largely based on this record. And then Baron, DJ Baron and DJ Breakout, they were the main two of the main Bronx DJs for this group. Like, two more pioneer kings. Baron said this: me and Darnell, who was Breakout, we took it pretty hard and didn't do too many parties. Eventually, they retired Breakout. They rehired Breakout to do tours when they got down with Sugar Hill, but that was when the parties really just stopped. This is 1979. This is like literally almost like instantly. A lot of the jams just died off. Blondie's Rapture. Now Blondie's like a new wave post-punk group. Put out this record Rapture in 1981. This was the first music video on MTV, which was, I believe, the year they started was 81, that had rapping in it, right? I don't know who directed it, but it stars some actually important people in hip-hop. Now, Fab Five Freddy, who we saw, who also starred in the movie Wild Style, and Fab Five Freddy was the first host of Yo MTV Raps. He's also a music video director. He's also, largely responsible for connecting Bambaataa and all these other DJs from Uptown, Bronx with downtown Manhattan people. He was friends with Basquiat and Andy Warhol, and he was, seminal in making graffiti mainstream in so many ways. So it starred him, he was in the video. It starred Lee Quinones, who was also in the movie Wild Style. He was Zorro. And the DJ in this scene, so you have Fab Five and Lee Quinones doing the graffiti. The DJ is actually Basquiat, Jean-Michel Basquiat, who was like the original street artist. He was like the Banksy of the 70s. His tag was Samo, which meant Samo shit. And he like kind of filled in for Flash, because apparently Flash was gonna do it and then just didn't show up or whatever. As corny it is, I mean, it made rap accessible to white audiences. What you have to understand, at the time and up through like the mid 80s, like rock, although it started with Little Richard and Chuck Berry with black artists and then got appropriated by Elvis and British artists or whatever. Rock though by the 80s was white music, and rap was black music, and we're talking about consumers as much as artists, but mostly consumers. And that all changed with Run DMC, which I'll talk about in a bit here, not in this unit, but in future units. But this is where you really start to that really opens up your market. Once you can sell rap records to white people, you're really opening up your consumer base, right? Because black people represent 13% of the population in the United States, roughly. That's a relatively small market, right? Once you can get to other races, ethnic groups, it just extends your reach. Now that started with Blondie the Rapture, pretty inauthentic non-hip hop group who's kind of tied to hip hop. But it kind of paved the way, to that market of consumers. So it was really played a major part in commodifying hip hop, and it was like again another like disco rap type of vibe to it, although not truly a disco rap record. Then we had The Joint, man. Curtis Blow's The Breaks. Curtis Blow, this is from 1980. This is a major joint. Curtis Blow was really important. Now, Blow, you know what I mean? I believe he's a reverend now, some sort of religious dude. But he was the first, rapper signed to a major record label. He had the first gold-selling single. I mean, he had a lot of firsts. Russell Simmons was his manager, Russell Simmons of Def Jam, and obviously brother of Rev Run, and managed Run DMC in their heyday. The song is interesting because, again, it's long, and it was, a disco rap record. But, Curtis had some, deeper meaning in this, because it was really a double meaning song. He's rhyming about the breaks, like break beats, right? And incorporating break beat style breakdowns into the song. And he was also talking about, hard times, tough breaks that people go through. It was written by Rocky Ford, who I talked about earlier, who wrote that Billboard article. It was produced by Larry Smith. Larry Smith is one of the most important beat makers of the early 80s and hip-hop history. He produced a ton of stuff for Run DMC, and he's someone we'll talk about as we move into Run DMC. But that's kind of like taking us through disco rap and kind of bringing us, now we're going to get into something else, a little bit more modern, but it's just an important era because it represents the time when, DJs get displaced, where rap becomes mainstream, or where hip hop becomes mainstream, becomes massified, gets incorporated into mainstream society, and also globalizes, and all that stuff. But there's always repercussions to, becoming mainstream. But it was a very short-lived period of time and style of music. 1979 through maybe 1982, maybe 1983 or so. And now there were some other big records that came out then that we'll talk about down the way, like, you know, Africa Bambaataa and, you know, Soul Sonic Force with Planet Rock and some electro funk stuff, but that's from probably like 1982. And that's a little bit more electronic where there was, you know, no bands involved. But, you know, this music was all made by bands trying to emulate what DJs were doing and trying to, you know, record labels trying to capture and codify what was happening in the Bronx and the park jams and put it on records and make it so you could bring the jam home. Does it work? Not sure. But anyways, we've made it through week 2, you know, of this class. So I very thankful for that. Hope you're having a good one and staying happy and sane and healthy and all that stuff. But yeah, we'll check you next week when we come correct. We're going to talk about Long Island, Queens, and street authenticity and Run DMC, as well as Rakim, Eric B. and Rakim. And we're going to talk about Strong Island, you know, and bring it to a little bit more modern style, at least for me. But yo, I'll check you on the flip. Peace. Spanky, look at this guy. He's getting real comfortable. Can you say bye? He's so sweet. Can you say bye? Peace.